question to Secretary General Martinez Carbonell. We had a suggestion here, obviously, to help with certain measures and actions that could involve sanctions. From your perspective, looking at what is at the EU's disposal, how can the EU, and has been taking maybe some measures on a more targeted way, contribute to reducing the risk of some geopolitical fragmentation and foster peace, stability in this region?
Thanks so much, Halika. Maybe I take it where Arman left it, with the invitation of how the bilateral relations can be further constructed. And I think Armenia is a very good example of a constructive relation between the EU and an important country in this region. And the way we are trying to promote this bilateral agenda, it's by something, we work on the basis of documents, which is how bureaucracies like to set agendas. And we are now finalizing negotiations for what we will call a new partnership agenda with Armenia. And then it will, maybe to make it more tangible and comprehensive to the audience, I will make 3 examples of how this agenda is going to take forward our relations. The first, and this is a topic that both the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister mentioned this morning, is connectivity, which I think is one of the issues of the day. And we want to see Armenia included in the discussions that we're having in the region on wider connectivity. And this includes the crossroads of peace, Armenian agenda. We have, some of you are familiar, there is a big program called Global Gateway, where we support mobilized funds for big investments. And the EU has mobilized over 700 million already, with a view to projects like the North-South Corridor, the electricity connection with Georgia. So these are tangible ways where we could connect, and we expect to do even much more in the coming years. The second is by supporting something that it's very close to our heart and what is the EU, which is supporting resilience and reforms. And there we want to commend Armenians for their courageous steps towards the EU. And we have in that regard increased a lot of our bilateral support, including to Karabakh Armenians, for example, or supporting over 6,000 SMEs in the past year. This is something that gets very close to people, help them in the realities of the day, but also something very close to people. We will be launching the dialogue with a view to one day have visa liberalization, so that one day Armenian tourists can travel freely to the EU. And then again, it's something very, very tangible. And third and final point, it's security. We're talking of soft power, but also getting more and more security focus. And there, a more stable Armenia means a more stable region. And as some of you know, 2 years ago, we launched this EU mission in Armenia that has been helping to monitor the Armenia-Azerbaijan border. I think they're playing a superb job. I had the opportunity to visit them yesterday, and this is kind of the things we're trying to do with Armenia, but also through something we call the European Peace Facility. We have been helping to modernize the Armenian armed forces and to rapid all this into a more joint vision of security. We will soon be having a security and defense consultations in Armenia. All this with a view to support Armenia reform agenda, but also to help them in their efforts to finalization of the normalization process with Azerbaijan that the Prime Minister was mentioned today. The High Representative Kallas couldn't be here today, but she's coming to Armenia before end of June, early July, and I'm sure she will take all this forward. Thank you.